Let me say something that might ruffle a few feathers. There are oud fragrances on the market that cost twice the price of Royal Oud and smell half as good. And there are oud fragrances that cost a tenth of the price. And honestly, they're embarrassing by comparison. Royal Oud sits in this very specific, very rare sweet spot where the price is painful, the quality is undeniable, and every time you wear it, you understand exactly why Creed has survived for over 250 years. This is not a fragrance that begs for your attention. It commands it. And today we're going to find out if it commands your money as well. Creed. If you're new to the world of luxury fragrance, let me give you the 30-second version. Founded in 1760 in London, now based in Paris, Creed has been supplying royalty, heads of state, and discerning individuals for generations. They claim, and there's genuine evidence to support this, a lineage of royal warrants stretching back centuries. Napoleon, Queen Victoria, Empress Eugenie, these aren't just marketing stories, they're part of the fabric of the house. What matters most to us right now is understanding what Creed represents in the oud space. Because Creed doesn't do loud, Creed doesn't do cheap, and Creed certainly doesn't do trends. When Olivier Creed and his son Erwin sat down to create Royal Oud in 2011, they weren't chasing the oud boom that was sweeping through the industry. They were making a statement about how oud should be done by a European house with centuries of craft behind it. The result is something that is neither aggressively Middle Eastern nor timidly Western. It is, in the truest sense, a meeting of worlds. Before a single drop touches your skin, the bottle tells you everything about this fragrance's intentions. The flacon is tall, elegant, and weighty in the hand. That distinctive Creed bottle, thick glass with clean lines, a silver cap that feels solid rather than decorative, a simple embossed crest on the front. It doesn't shout. It doesn't have to. This is old money aesthetics, the kind of bottle that sits on a dressing table and makes everything around it look slightly less impressive. The outer box is equally restrained. Deep, rich packaging, the Creed name stamped with quiet authority. When you lift the bottle out, there's a satisfying heft that immediately justifies a portion of that price tag. This is a bottle you display. This is a bottle you keep after it's empty. Everything about the presentation says, you have arrived somewhere. And that somewhere is expensive, right? First spray. Let's talk about what happens in those opening seconds, because this is where Royal Oud does something genuinely surprising. You press that atomizer and you expect oud to detonate immediately, that smoky, barnyard, medicinal blast that so many oud fragrances lead with. But that is not what happens here. Instead, what greets you is brightness. Pink pepper crackles first, sharp, spicy, with this almost citrus-adjacent energy that wakes you up. Then comes the grapefruit. Fresh, slightly bitter, cutting through any heaviness before it can even form. And underneath both of them, cardamom. Oh, the cardamom. It's warm and slightly sweet. It adds this exotic backbone that whispers rather than shouts. Together, the opening is bold, but it's refined. It projects confidently. You'll be noticed from across a room within 60 seconds of spraying this. But it's not aggressive. It's not the fragrance equivalent of someone walking into a room and immediately talking about themselves. It's more like someone who enters quietly, sits down, and you can't take your eyes off them. Now, around 15 to 20 minutes in, something shifts. The citrus and pepper begin to recede, and the real architecture of Royal Oud reveals itself. This is where you earn the name. The oud emerges, and I want to be specific about this because it matters. This is not dark, brutal smoky oud. This is not the kind of oud that polarizes rooms. Creed has done something quite clever here. They've taken oud and polished it, refined it. The oud in Royal Oud is woody, slightly sweet, with a very faint earthiness that grounds the whole composition without ever threatening to overwhelm it. It's oud for people who've always been curious about oud, but perhaps been intimidated. And it's oud that seasoned oud lovers will respect for its restraint. The sandalwood wraps around it like a cashmere scarf. Creamy, smooth, warm. And then cypress adds something unexpected, a slight green, almost forest floor freshness that lifts the composition and stops it from becoming too heavy or too sweet. This is a heart that reveals itself gradually over the first hour and a half, and every time you think you've understood it, you catch a new facet. That green cypress note genuinely surprised me the first time I wore this. It gives Royal Oud a texture that's hard to describe. It's simultaneously warm and cool, rich and fresh, dense and airy. It shouldn't work, and it absolutely does. 6 hours in, you've been through a meeting, a lunch, possibly a difficult conversation about a spreadsheet, and Royal Oud is still there. But it's changed. The dry down is where the base notes earn their place, and in Royal Oud, those base notes are exceptional. Ambergris provides this beautiful, almost oceanic warmth. Slightly salty, animalic in the best possible sense. Intimate. It pulls the fragrance closer to the skin in these later stages. The musk is clean and smooth rather than heavy, and the cedar, crisp, dry, woody, adds structure that stops the whole thing from going soft. What you're left with in the dry down is something genuinely beautiful. It's warmer than the opening, more personal. It has settled into your skin in a way that feels bespoke, which is precisely the word that Creed themselves used to describe their philosophy. This late-stage Royal Oud is the fragrance equivalent of a very good suit at the end of a long day. Slightly lived in, still impeccably cut, radiating quiet confidence. Let's be honest here, because I know some of you have heard that Creed has had batch inconsistency issues over the years. I'm going to give you my honest experience with the bottle I have, and it has been consistent across multiple wearings. On my skin, Royal Oud lasts a genuine 8 to 10 hours. That first 4 hours is full projection, medium to strong sillage, people around you will clock it, compliments are very likely. From hour 4 to hour 10 it becomes more of a close skin scent, but a deeply satisfying one. You catch wafts of it when you move, it's still very much present. On clothing, longevity increases significantly. I've had this sitting in the fabric of a suit jacket for 2 full days. That's not uncommon for quality eau de parfum, but it's worth knowing if you want to be conservative with your application. 2 to 3 sprays is entirely sufficient. I'd suggest 1 on the chest and 1 on the neck. Don't overspray this. Royal Oud rewards restraint in application as much as it rewards restraint in its composition. Season first. This is primarily an autumn and winter fragrance. The warmth of the oud, sandalwood, and ambergris demands cooler temperatures to really sing. That said, on a cool spring evening or an overcast summer day, Royal Oud is completely wearable. I would avoid peak summer heat. The oud can become a little sharp and medicinal when it's forced to perform in 30-degree heat. Occasion. This is a fragrance for important moments. Business meetings, where you need authority. Evenings out, where you want to make a statement without trying too hard. First dates. If you want to project success and taste simultaneously, it would be my choice for a job interview in a creative or luxury industry. It is perhaps slightly too formal for a casual weekend at home, though I confess I wear it on Sundays regardless and have zero regrets. Age and style. While it's marketed as unisex and genuinely works on all genders, this is a fragrance that rewards a certain maturity. Not necessarily age, I mean maturity of taste. If you are just beginning your fragrance journey, this might feel like buying a Michelin star meal before you've developed a palate for fine dining. It won't be wasted on you, but you might not fully appreciate it yet. For someone who has explored fragrance, who understands what they're smelling and why, Royal Oud is deeply satisfying. Think of your audience as someone who wears well-cut clothes, reads rather than scrolls, and appreciates craft in whatever form it takes. 285 pounds. Let's talk about that number. The bottle is 100 milliliters, so you're looking at 2 pounds 85 per milliliter. In the context of designer fragrance, that sounds steep. In the context of niche and luxury perfumery, and Creed absolutely belongs in that space, it is not unusual. It is, however, real money. Is it worth it? I believe it is, for the right person. Royal Oud is not a fragrance you wear every day. It's a fragrance you invest in and reach for on the occasions that deserve it. Understood in those terms, that bottle will last you a very long time and deliver an exceptional experience every single time you open it. Are there alternatives? Montal's Oud Forest comes in significantly cheaper and shares some of the refinement. Maison Margiela Replica Jazz Club has a similar woody warmth at a lower price point, though it's not really an oud fragrance. But if you want the Creed DNA, that particular combination of old-world craft, bright opening, and elegant woody heart, there genuinely is no substitute. You can purchase Royal Oud through p11.com, which is where I'd point you for competitive pricing and genuine stock. Link is in the description. I'll give Royal Oud a score of 8.5 out of 10. The half point I'm withholding is for the price, which excludes a portion of people who would love this fragrance, and the occasional batch variability that the Creed House needs to address more robustly. But as a fragrance experience, as a composition, as an olfactory achievement, it is exceptional. Royal Oud is a fragrance that rewards patience. Patience with the opening while it unfolds, patience with the price while you save, and patience with yourself while your nose develops enough to fully appreciate what Olivier and Erwin Creed have created here. It is not a simple fragrance. It is not a crowd pleaser in the conventional sense, but it is deeply, genuinely excellent in a way that very few fragrances manage to be. If you're on the fence, my honest advice is this. Find a way to sample it first. Wear it for a full day. Because Royal Oud is the kind of fragrance that doesn't reveal itself in a single sniff on a paper strip. It needs your skin, your warmth, and your time. Give it those things, and it will give you something remarkable in return. Now I want to hear from you. Do you own Royal Oud? Is it in your collection or on your wish list? And if you've made the jump, what was the occasion that made you finally buy it? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you found this review useful, you know what to do. It genuinely helps the channel more than you might think. Until next time.